Why do we keep gambling even after the amount of pain that it's caused in our lives? There are many reasons, and they're going to vary drastically from person to person. But there's one reason that seems to be present in almost everyone's story that I've heard so far, and that is the sunk cost fallacy. We're going to dive into what this is, how it affects gambling addicts specifically, and if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to stop this type of thinking from even happening. Hey guys, my name is Rob and I'm a compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and since then, I've made it my personal mission to help other people in their addiction recovery journey by posting content about what's working for me. So if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video so that it'll get pushed out to more people around the world who are struggling with this disease. Around a quarter of every single person on Earth gambles. And seeing that there's over 2 million gambling addicts in the United States alone, there's no doubt millions of people out there who would benefit from what we're going to be talking about today. Before we dive into how the sunk cost fallacy is used in gambling, let's first define what it is. The sunk cost fallacy is a cognitive bias that occurs when a person continues to invest time, money, or resources into something because they've already invested a lot into it, even though the investment is unlikely to yield any further benefit. So basically, we spent so much on it, we can't stop now, right? Well, the reality is that this line of thinking is just making things worse because you're putting off quitting because you've already suffered so much that you want to get some kind of reward for it. This leads to a ton of wasted time as you're chasing after something that will never come. Either the feeling that you felt in the beginning, or for some people, all the money that they want to recoup. To better illustrate this concept, let's look at a few examples. Imagine that you bought a ticket to a movie, but after the first half hour, you realize that it's not very good. However, instead of leaving the theater, you decide that you're going to stay until the end of the movie because you already paid for the ticket. This is a great example of the sunk cost fallacy because you're investing more time into something that's unlikely to get any better. Another great example of the sunk cost fallacy can be seen in business. For instance, a company may continue to invest into a failing project because they've already invested a lot of time and money into it. Even though it's clear that the project's not going to be a success, they feel the need to continue investing into it to justify their previous investments. Now, let's apply this concept directly to gambling. Gambling addicts often use the sunk cost fallacy to justify continuing to gamble even when they've lost a ton of money already. We believe that if we continue gambling, we'll eventually win back our losses, and that will come out ahead. For example, imagine that a person goes into a casino and loses $500 playing blackjack. Instead of walking away, they continue to play because they believe that if they keep gambling, they'll win their money back or that they're due in some way. This is an example of the sunk cost fallacy because they're investing more money into something that's unlikely to yield any future benefit. Now, we know it's unlikely to yield a future benefit in this case because every single casino game is designed so that you lose in the long run. This is referred to as the house edge. And even the games where you have the best chance to win have less than a 50% chance of you being successful. So why is the sunk cost fallacy dangerous to gambling addicts? It's dangerous to gambling addicts because it can lead into a cycle of addiction. As we continue to invest more time and money into our addiction, we may begin to believe that we have no other option but to continue gambling. This can result in significant financial losses, which can then have long-term consequences. For example, we could lose our savings, incur significant debt, and even lose assets such as our homes. This can lead to a whole new set of problems as others in your life are affected by your actions. So if you or someone that you know is struggling with a gambling addiction, it's important to recognize the sunk cost fallacy and take steps to avoid it. So as promised, here's a few tips on how to battle against this type of thinking. Seek help. If you're struggling with a gambling addiction, seek help from a professional. There are many resources available to help people to overcome their addiction and break free from the cycle of the sunk cost fallacy. Now, whether that be a counsel or a support group, talking about your losses and experiences can really help you to let go of them and finally realize that they don't have to be chased after in order for you to live a happy and healthy life. Next, develop and remember your bigger picture. At this point, we're continuing to gamble to chase a feeling, or we're gambling out of frustration to try to win that money back that we had lost previously. So take a step back and think to yourself about whether or not what you're about to do will make your life better or worse. Will risking more money to get back what is already lost lead to a better life? Start making choices that show yourself the respect that you show to others. Make decisions that will make life better, never worse. Next, keep facts in mind. Despite what people may tell you or even try to sell you, there's no form of gambling that's profitable in the long run. Once you know that you're the underdog in every single game that you play, you can make the active choice to avoid putting yourself in a situation where you're more likely to leave with less than you came in with. By recognizing the sunk cost fallacy and taking steps to avoid it, gambling addicts like myself can begin to break free from our addictions and avoid significant financial losses. If you need specific help, feel free to drop a comment on this video with a question you may have, or even send me an email. This is a real community that we're building here, and my goal is to help each and every one of you start your journey of recovery. So that's it for me. As always, let's keep getting better together, one day at a time.